Okwu ntabire maka echiche na inwe uche. A tongue twister about thinking and having sense. Ndewo. The lesson for today is titled Okwu ntabire maka echiche na inwe uche. A tongue twister about thinking and having sense. But before we start, we're going to look at 5 key words that will feature in this tongue twister. And these words are uche. Uche in this sense is the name Uchechukwu or Uchenna or Uchechi. So there are variations. And these ones, these 2 examples I've given here, Uchechukwu means God's thoughts. So, giving to a child that this child is was exactly what God was thinking. And then Uchenna means the literal meaning is father's mind, and in this sense, father means God. So Uchechukwu, Uchenna, God's thoughts, father's mind. Aham bụ Uchechukwu. My name is Uchechukwu. Ebee ka Uchechi dowere akwa ya? Where did Uchechi leave her clothes? Iche uche, to think. Iche uche, to think. Achọrọ m ịnọ ebe a chee uche. I want to stay here and think. Iche uche, to think. So echiche is that I think the noun version of thinking. Echiche, what is your thinking? Kedu echiche gi maka ihe na-eme? What are your thoughts about what's happening? Then there's another uche, sense or mind, and that's where common sense comes in. So this gives you a sense that uche is all about thinking and the brain, and it's not something physical that you touch. It's to do with the sense and the mind. So uche, sense or mind in this context. Inwekwara uche, do you have sense or do you have common sense? I'm sure one or two of our relatives or our parents have said this to us when we were kids. Inwekwa uche or jiri uche. Use your sense, use your common sense. So uche in this context is sense or mind. The only way you will know what someone is talking about is when you hear the entire sentence. Then you can figure out what the person talking to you is talking about, whether they're talking about someone's name or your thinking, or whether they're referring to the sense of something. The next one is nwanne, sibling. Onye a bụ nwanne m. This person is my sibling. Enweghị, doesn't have. Enweghị m nnu. I don't have salt. Enweghị, doesn't have. And now for the tongue twister. And before we start, as usual, you know that tongue twisters are like mini workouts for your mouth, so that you kind of solidify your skills in saying certain words and certain, alphabets. And it just makes your mouth get used to sounds in a certain language. And they're fantastic for language learning, as most of you know. And so we'll go on to the tongue twister for today. Uche na-eche uche na nwanne ya bụ uche enweghị uche. Uche na-eche uche na nwanne ya bụ uche enweghị uche. Uche na-eche uche na nwanne ya bụ uche enweghị uche. And again, Uche na-eche uche na nwanne ya bụ uche enweghị uche. And so I'm going to say it 5 times without stopping and increasing the pace. And then maybe 3 times again. So in total, I'm going to say it 8 times. And so the faster you try to say it, the more your mouth gets used. Your mouth gets used to the sounds of the language and the words in the language. Ready? Let's go. Uche na-eche uche na nwanne ya bụ uche enweghị uche. Uche na-eche uche na nwanne ya bụ uche enweghị uche. Uche na-eche uche na nwanne ya bụ uche enweghị uche. Uche na-eche uche na nwanne ya bụ uche enweghị uche. And now I'm going to say it 3 times more. Uche na-eche uche na nwanne ya bụ uche enweghị uche. Uche na-eche uche na nwanne ya bụ uche enweghị uche. Uche na-eche uche na nwanne ya bụ uche enweghị uche. And so the words we've learnt in this tongue twister are Uche, Uchechukwu or Uchenna, God's thoughts, Father's or God's mind. Iche uche, to think. Uche, sense or mind. Nwanne, sibling. Enweghị, doesn't have. And so your task, as always, is to learn how to say the tongue twister as accurately and as quickly as you can. I think in this instance, you might try saying it 10 times. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. Just the more you do it, the more you get used to it. Even if you like, you can do it more than 10 times. It doesn't matter. But the more you practice, the more your mouth gets used to the language. As usual, if you have extra time, try and make new sentences using these words that we've talked about today. If you're stuck, you can always use Google Translate. In conclusion, always remember that practice makes perfect and that each effort you make brings you closer to your Igbo language and cultural learning goals. Ko mesia. See you on the next lesson.